everyone. Welcome to the third installment of Meet the Bruins. We are fortunate to have two of our great athletes join us today. First, we have Mac May, women's volleyball, and we have Abbey Forbes, women's tennis. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host today. My name is Tyus Edney. I played basketball at UCLA 1995. We get an opportunity to get to know you guys beyond your jerseys, let's say, or your uniforms. Let's start with Mac. What made you choose volleyball?
I chose volleyball. I used to play soccer also as a kid, and I chose volleyball because my mom played, my sister played. It kind of ran in the family, and I just grew up and I loved it, and I couldn't get enough of it. And so I played as much as I could, as often as I could, all growing up. And then when I was offered the ability to come to UCLA, I just jumped at the chance. I loved it. So I'm so happy to be here, and I'm very thankful that I chose volleyball.
Did you outgrow soccer? Because you know you get pretty tall. So.
I think I did outgrow the height limit.
Abby, why did you choose tennis?
To be honest, I started tennis because of a video game. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Wii or the Wii console.
Yeah.
But it comes with a game called Wii Sports, and Wii Sports has tennis on it, and I was in love with the game. I was addicted, and my dad asked me one night, hey, do you want to play a real tennis match? Like, do you want to play like in a real tennis lesson? And I was a little hesitant at first because I was a soccer girl too. I played soccer from when I was 3 to when I was 11. Oh. And so I was a little hesitant at first. I was 6 at the time. I started playing, I had my first lesson, and I love the individuality of it. I love that I could control the score. I could control everything out there, at least on the singles court. And growing up, I mean, it's taken me all around the world. It's given me so many opportunities. Like Max said, like I'm super thankful for my sport too. It got me to UCLA, and yeah, it's helped me accomplish a lot of my dreams.
That's great. I know we have the licensing thing, so I'm sure we would like to hear you say that one day about learning how to play from Wii. And I do know that game, and I used to get beat by my oldest daughter all the time in that game, and I'd be sweating, and I was just, so I get it. It was a fun game. Mac, what should we know like about your sport what do you think is it that draws people to your sport?
Well, for me, the reason I really, really love it is because of, which is different from Abby, mine is the team aspect of the sport, because you really cannot do anything without the other girls on your court. You can't hit the ball twice. You can't do anything without those people around you. And so I really enjoy just like seeing all of my other teammates go all out in practice or in a game and giving it their full effort, because it really inspires me to also give my full effort and play for them. And so I think for people watching volleyball, I think look for those moments where teammates are connecting and someone runs down a ball that's 30 feet off the court and grabs it and brings it back, and somehow we get a swing off of it. I think those moments of the sport are the most amusing and the most fun to play in.
I love when the ball just goes and then somehow it gets back across the net. I think that's
You're
cool.
Running into the scores table.
Oh my God, it's the best. Oh, it's the best. Abby, what about your sport?
I think that tennis is interesting because we're hitting a 2-ounce tennis ball over the net at about 100 miles per hour. And you have to have hand-eye coordination and extreme speed, because the court is about 100 square feet and you're sprinting in every direction, whether it's diagonal, forwards, backwards, sideways. And you also have to make clean contact with the ball on your racket, and you have to hit it away from your opponent. So there's just all these different aspects to the game. And, you know, seeing the greats play it, like Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes of all time, period. And, you know, Roger Federer, just some of our greatest tennis players, just watching them play and how they construct points and make it, you know, almost artistic looking, the way they hit the ball, where they move, how they move. I think that that's what draws people to watch tennis, just the amount of athleticism that you need to
Yeah.
play, and all the different cool points that we can come up with.
I used to watch a lot of tennis, so McEnroe and all that. Like, I used to like the arguments. I'm like, they're good athletes, but I want to hear McEnroe like yell at somebody and go at the refs. So, Mac, what do you feel is your most memorable moment in volleyball?
When I was a freshman, that year, my freshman year was a very memorable year, um, because started off indoor volleyball. Our team makes it to the Sweet 16. I was like, what the heck is going on? First of all, I had no idea how the tournament worked or anything. And so it was a pretty good run for us, and like felt very confident about it. But then after that season, I joined the beach team also and played beach volleyball. And we won the national championship that year. And I actually played as a freshman who barely ever played growing up beach volleyball with all these girls from Southern California. And so that was just an incredible experience. Playing in Gulf Shores, Alabama on the big stage was really, really fun. And just the feeling that of your team holding a national championship trophy will never ever get old. It's actually the best feeling I think in the world. So
Yeah.
that remembering that moment, and then it happened again next year. And so but that very first moment was actually just incredible, and it was like a lot of connection within the team. You could feel how connected we were as a team. And so it was really, it kind of gives me chills talking about it too. So,
Nice.
and now the beach team's going to go next week and try and win another one. So
With going from, hard court to beach, I mean, I'm sure we've all walked on soft sand somewhere, and that's, you get tired just walking out to the beach. So I can't imagine going from, hard court to sand. And then you obviously being able to play as a freshman, that's a big time accomplishment there. So is there like huge differences or?
yeah, actually, in my opinion, I think they're two completely different sports. Indoor
Mhm.
is a much more aggressive, fast-paced game, whereas beach volleyball is more ball control, precision type of game, I would say.
Mhm.
But they both cross over. Obviously, they're the same sport, they cross over. So if I go play in the sand for a while and I go to the indoor, I'm gonna jump crazy out of the gym. Just that jump training is incredible. Um, and then going from indoor over, I actually think it's harder to go hard court to the sand because the court's bigger.
Mhm.
Um, you're not used to like you pass to a target in indoor, and then on the beach you got to pass like off the net, and it's all different technical things. So I think they're two different sports, but I think they overlap well. And so training in one won't hinder the other. I think it benefits both ways.
Abby, who has had the most impact on you in terms of just becoming kind of who you are?
Definitely had a lot of role models growing up, like Serena Williams and LeBron James, Muhammad Ali, all those great athletes. But as far as someone who inspires me right now, I'd say it's my younger brother. In May of 2019, he got diagnosed with leukemia, and he is going to be 17 this fall. And he's been battling cancer for about 2 years now. And I was on my way into UCLA as a freshman when he got diagnosed. And so ever since then, I've been super grateful just for every opportunity that I have in life, not only on the tennis court, but off the tennis court. And I wanted to make the most out of every opportunity that I got, especially at UCLA. And so he's been an inspiration for me, going into every tournament, into every match. He's been an inspiration for me throughout this season. Unfortunately, we've gotten a season, with COVID
Yeah.
and everything. I'm really happy that we were able to play. And I just dedicated this whole season to him just because of how much he's going through and how hard he's fought since he's in remission now, and things are going well,
Right.
even though there's rocky roads, of course. I mean, chemotherapy is not a
Mhm.
pretty sight to see, but he's been taking it
Mhm.
like a champ, and he's been inspiring me every day.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. Do you guys talk? I mean, does he call you before matches, or do you guys?
When he was probably about 18 to 24 months old, he got diagnosed with autism. So we have conversations, but they're not like your typical like back and forth. He talks in his own way, and we have our conversations in the mornings, and he has his
Nice.
routine. He calls me at lunchtime, and
Oh, that's great.
sometimes if I'm lucky, he'll call me before bed. But I'm from North Carolina, so I don't live around here, so I don't get to see him much. But when I go back home in the summers, of course, and like in the winters and everything, we hang out. I'll take him out to lunch and like we'll do things as like brother and sister bonding type of stuff.
That's
He
great.
plays baseball and soccer, but and he's tried tennis, but he doesn't like it that much. He says he's been around it his whole life. He's a little bit sick of going to tennis tournaments.
So, Mac, like, who do you admire most?
Right now, I've been really looking to professional basketball just because I've been watching it a lot, um, and I think they have a great platform to advocate and talk and do a whole bunch of stuff. And so I've been looking at like Kevin Love a lot, and Kyle Korver actually came out with a really great article that on the Players Tribune that I really enjoyed. I can't remember right now exactly what the name of it is, but I love like looking to them and seeing what they're doing. LeBron James obviously is always doing great things. And then other than that, I've been looking to Naomi Osaka because a tennis girl, and because she's been doing some incredible things too. And I'm pretty sure we're like around the same age, which blows my mind, but she's incredible and just making her voice very loud and clear and doing some incredible things on the tennis court. And so she's been really fun to kind of follow and watch. But yeah, I feel like I could say so many names because there's a lot of really great athletes right now doing some really great things.
Abby, how would you define success kind of in your eyes?
I would define success as having no regrets after playing and after competing and after training. I'd say that somebody who is so sure of themselves and what they're capable of is a successful athlete. Somebody who can say that every time they step onto the court or the field, that they worked their absolute hardest and they gave their 100% effort every single day. I think that that's a successful athlete, no matter whether you're a Grand Slam champion or you're an NCAA champion. I think that no matter what level you're at in sports, if you can say that you have given your sport your all and you've dedicated everything that you have to it, then you're successful.
That's a true Bruin answer right there. I know Coach Wooden is smiling right now. Like my message is still being received, so that's great. Mac, what's success according to you?
I think it aligns pretty closely with Abby's. It's based off John Wooden's definition of success too. It's just that peace of mind and the self-satisfaction in knowing that you have done the best of which you are capable. And so I think once I memorized that, I kind of took that with me onto the volleyball court and kind of all aspects of my life. And if I was providing my best effort and doing the most that I could in those given areas, I felt very successful. I didn't feel that statistics like hitting percentages on the volleyball court were driving my definition of success. I think it was, did I do the best with what I had on the court? Yes, then that was a successful day.
Obviously, we all know what's been happening in the world with the pandemic, and it's changed the scope of athletics, I think professionally in college. What do you feel you learned through this whole process?
This question is great because the pandemic actually really helped me develop as a person and really solidify the beliefs that I now really hold true to and hold dear to my heart. I think the pandemic kind of pushed a lot of our generation to be more socially conscious. And so at the start of quarantine, when everything kind of shut down, I was in a few sociology classes. And those, it was, I think one was sociology of race and ethnicity, and one was sociology of crime. And so I learned a lot, which I wouldn't have learned I think I would have never really had my eyes open to these kind of things. Because a little background is I'm from a very predominantly white area in Dubuque, Iowa, and taking those classes and kind of very slowly, um, it sucks to say slowly because it should have been a much quicker thing, but slowly I was very, very much more aware of what was going on in America and the societies of America. And so taking what I learned from those classes and then moving on to how can I be a better member of society? How can I be a better advocate and an ally? And how can I help create change in a place that's not changing very fast? And it's very much been a bumpy road in different areas. Um, I think it really helped me understand who I am and what I believe in, and it helped me kind of realize what others stand for too. And I'm very proud of what I've now stepped into and the role that I play. And I really like thank you for the pandemic. COVID was actually such a blessing. Um, one for that, for being socially aware and bringing myself to be a better advocate and be a better member of society. And then also, I think the other side of COVID is the gratefulness aspect and being grateful for what you have and finding that the things in life can be taken much quicker than you are ready for. So
I think that's true for a lot of actually worldwide. I think people have had a lot of self-reflection and a lot of growth. And that comes from, I think, tough times and loss too. There's been a lot of loss. So I think we've all had a lot of lessons at this time with what's going on.
This pandemic gave me a lot of perspective just on experiences that I've had before the pandemic and also after the pandemic, well, not after, but you guys know what I mean, like post quarantine and post 2020, everything that we went through last year with the lockdown, the season canceling, and everything. I think that I learned a lot about my relationships with people. And, as a Black female in America from a very rural part of the South in North Carolina, I learned a lot about my state's history and what role that we played in the oppression of my people. And these are things that I wasn't taught in school, and I didn't really learn a lot about anything regarding social or racial injustice until I got to UCLA. And so I'm really thankful for an institution that, supports people of all backgrounds and of all diversities. And so I'm very happy that I had the opportunity to take, African American studies classes, or like Mac was talking about, sociology classes here at UCLA that enlighten its students to what our nation's history is and what histories are around the world. And it inspired me to start the Black Tennis Student Athlete Alliance, which consists of the nation's tennis players who identify as African American. And it's just given us a community to talk about our experiences and, help one another if we're facing, oppression from our other teammates, or how we can relate to one another and what our experiences are. And it's honestly just a safe space for us to talk to one another, because otherwise we don't feel like we would have gotten that. There was never a space opened for people of color to bond together, at least in my sport, which is a very predominantly white sport. And it has also allowed my white ally tennis friends to see what has been going on behind the scenes, and it's allowed them to learn, and it's allowed us to grow as people, and it's really deepened my relationships with a lot of people that I now hold dear to my heart, especially my teammates and my coaching staff and everyone that's involved with UCLA women's tennis. Just having those discussions all throughout last summer, and I have a Black teammate who has been like a mentor and a leader for me, and having her and my assistant coach, Rance Brown, who's also Black, just lead these discussions that we had last summer has been super eye-opening, not only for me, but for also my teammates. And ever since then, the culture on our team has been so much better, and we've learned a lot from one another. And, having Martin as our new AD has really helped that too. Just as an athletics department, we have improved so much just with our culture and what we stand for. And yeah, just overall improving everything about our program.
Part of, I think, being at a university is to just grow as a person, and that's great. It seems like you're really taking advantage of that and learning as much as you can. So that's great. So Mac, you mentioned earlier your hometown. So if I came to your hometown, where would you take me?
So if you went to Dubuque, Iowa, I would take you probably downtown. So Iowa is like part of the tri-state area. It's
Mhm.
Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin, and it's
Oh.
the Mississippi River separates those. And
Mhm.
so I'd probably take you downtown and show you the river. And we got some pretty good food down there. I'm trying to think of some good places that I could take you, but probably grab some dinner.
All right.
See the views. There's a
Is
lot of
there like,
history there.
oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, like historical
Specialty
buildings.
there?
And corn on the cob is like kind of like the staple
Oh.
there, but I wouldn't make you eat that. I wouldn't like could get some Italian pasta or something. I don't know.
Abby, what about you? Where would you recommend going?
So I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina, which is the capital city. So my first place that I would take you is downtown. But before that, so if I could picture a day, I would take you to the old diner by my house that I usually take my grandparents to in the mornings for breakfast. And then after that, we would go to Falls Lake, which is a lake by my house, and I would show you around there. It's, our version of a little beach, I guess, but it's a typical hangout spot. It's lots of greenery, a beautiful lake. People go
Nice.
fishing, tubing, kayaking, all of the above. And then that night we would go eat dinner downtown, and we've got some pretty good restaurants. We're known for our barbecue.
Mhm.
We are known for our barbecue because we don't put vinegar in it. It's sweeter barbecue
Ah,
than you typically get in like a Memphis or somewhere else in the South. And so we have really good barbecue, and yeah, that would kind of close out our night.
all right. I'm gonna vouch a little bit for the food. I was there when I recruiting a long time ago, and I went to this place and I got some cornbread. It was a store, and to this day, it's like my favorite cornbread. And I will call and get it shipped out here from North Carolina. So I know you guys eat well out there for sure. Mac, what do you think is like your biggest adjustment going from Dubuque out to this, LA, where there's millions of people?
I think my biggest adjustment would have been just kind of adjusting to like the fast life. Because Iowa, like our biggest traffic jam is like 5 cars at a stop sign. So we don't really deal with a lot of traffic. So I think that was probably my biggest like whoa moment was being like in a gridlock on the 405 and being like, how do I get myself out of this? So I think that was kind of a big adjustment was the amount of people here. But other than that, I think it was like your typical college transition. I had to just kind of like take care of myself, which was also like on the other side of the country. So,
Yeah.
but it actually was, I think, a smooth transition, and I'm grateful for that.
So you didn't feel like overwhelmed, or it was just kind of like,
Yeah, I think the team aspect is really helpful because you have how many built-in friends right there, and it was. I think it was an easy adjustment because there's so many things to do in LA, and so your team gathers everyone, and we go to the beach, and you go down wherever. You can go anywhere in LA. You got all the options. And so it was, I'm happy that my team was friendly and we just got right to hanging out.
Abby, did you have a big adjustment? I know your town is small, but not small, but
Yeah, it's not super small. I'm actually from a suburb of Raleigh. It's
oh,
called Leesville. It's like a little township. Raleigh's separated into different little townships. And so
okay.
I'm from the northwestern side. And so LA is a lot bigger than my little 5,000 group of people. So um, LA was definitely a big adjustment, but a lot of my teammates are from Southern California. And so they helped me out with, navigating traffic and having to plan 2 hours ahead of when you're supposed to leave because you're going to get jammed up, like Max said, on the 405. But it was nice coming out to somewhere different and seeing different people. There's so many different people from so many different backgrounds in LA, and you never know who you're going to meet, and that excited me a lot. And again, like Max said, for me it was a pretty smooth transition too, because you come in, at least I came in with 9 built-in best friends, and it was really comforting having them to show me the ropes and show me around. So it wasn't as rocky as it could have been for me.
That does help for sure. Do you have a favorite memory out here in LA that you can think of?
I would say it's pretty recent, actually. So we won the Pac-12 regular season recently, and that was huge because so we have a super senior. Her name is Jada Hart. I'll give her a little shout out. She's been here for 6 years now, and she had never beaten Stanford before I got on the team. She had never won a Pac-12 regular season. She had never won a Pac-12 anything. And when we put on those shirts and that hat for her, I was so happy for her. I was so happy just for our entire team. We had worked so hard, and you know, she has gone through so much, just like with the COVID year and going through everything with 4 years of college and then having your senior season cut short because of COVID. We were all just super excited and super proud of ourselves, and so that's my favorite
Nice.
moment to date.
Well, I hope there'll be more like that. Mac, what's the best thing you'd say you love about Los Angeles?
I think I'd have to say the beach. I love going to the beach. I love the ocean. I love swimming in the ocean. I think I'm gonna take up surfing sometime soon.
All right, all right.
It's in the works. We're thinking about it a lot. I haven't really gotten out there and done the deed yet, but I'm really excited about it. Just I could spend the whole day at the beach, I think. And so thank God California has a lot of those.
And I grew up here and I never surfed either. So still on the list and I still haven't gotten out there. So don't
We'll
be
get out there soon.
part of being a college athlete is traveling. Is there a place that you've traveled to, let's say Abbey, that sticks out for you?
Most definitely. At the beginning of last year's season, so in January, we went to Nassau, Bahamas for a tournament. That was the best weekend ever. And my teammates will probably hear this and start laughing because I got food poisoning on that trip.
Oh.
But I was so happy that I was okay with getting food poisoning. That's how good that trip was. It was the best view, the best food, everything. My family is Caribbean. We're from Jamaica. And so
Nice.
when they heard that we were going to the Bahamas, they got really excited because, all the Caribbeans, like we love our food, we love our islands, we love our beaches, and
Nice.
we love our people, we're just lighthearted and fun. It was a great trip.
Do you go to Jamaica sometime?
No, I've actually never been. I'm the
Oh
first
no.
generation born here, and so I'm the only one in my family who's never gone.
Well, they owe you a trip. What about you, Mac?
Geez, I wish our team went to the Bahamas.
Right? You got good trips.
I think one of the coolest places I visited playing, I would have to say New Orleans was really, really cool when our beach team went there last season. Uh, we got to play at LSU, and they have this huge stadium that they made for beach volleyball. And so that was really cool. You get to play at nighttime, they have the lights and everything. And then the next day, we had a flight out of flight out of New Orleans. So we played in Baton Rouge, and then we went to New Orleans, and we got to see everything. Got to go walk downtown, and I think we went on a ghost tour too, which was really
Oh,
cool. That was pretty cool, and got to eat the beignets and oh,
oh man.
the whole package. It was great.
I hope it wasn't a ghost and voodoo tour. So you guys are all.
We left on a good note.
So I know Abby, we talked a little bit about your families. So what is the best thing that you like to do with your family when you guys are together?
I would say since we're from North Carolina, we're big outdoors people. And so my favorite thing I'd say to do, at least with my brothers, is go outside and actually shoot basketball hoops because we have a
Oh,
basketball court in our backyard. And luckily, so the Make-A-Wish Foundation built a multi-sport court, which is volleyball, badminton, tennis, pickleball, and basketball all in one
wow.
for Lukey. And I haven't seen it yet since they just did it in March. But before that, it was just a basketball court. And I am the shortest in my family now. So my two brothers like to beat up on me with that and dunk on my head and everything. But,
Oh
you know,
no.
we have some friendly family fun and, it's a good time. And it's a sport that none of us play super competitively, and
Yeah.
so we all just get out there and we'll play like a game of horse or something, and we'll have a lot of fun with it.
I think you can claim pickleball as not being a sport that you all play, so you can get them back if you do that.
I'll have to do that when I get back.
Mac, what do you like to do with your family?
My favorite part of going home, because I don't get to go home too often, but I think my favorite part is when we have winter break and the whole May family. So my dad has five brothers, and
Oh
so
wow.
you can just imagine how big this family is and all the relations. But I think my favorite thing is the May family Christmas because boy is that a party. We just go and I have so many cousins, and so it's so fun to see all of them. And we usually get a euchre tournament going, which is you're
Mhm.
not a debuter if you can't play euchre. Um, I just learned how to play euchre, so I can officially say I'm a debuter. But that's always a really good time, and it's super fun to like get my grandma out there and see
Mhm.
everybody. And now most of our cousins have like little young uh, children running around too, and so it's so fun. Just you get to see all the generations, and it's just a great big party, and we love it.
Wow, that's like a family reunion every time you go
Yeah,
back.
basically.
My family's big like yours, so we have to go to a park for that to happen. So, Abby, but what is something that people may not know about you?
Something people who aren't close to me would not assume about me is that I love to run. It's like a secret hobby of mine, and
Wow.
I believe that in another life I would actually be like a cross country runner because I love to run long distances. And over the quarantine, I was able to explore that side of myself since, running was a safe activity and you could go outside as long as you were, distance from people. It was one of the few things that we could do, especially when the tennis courts closed. And so I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'm going to go on some runs around the lake or runs around my neighborhood. And yeah, I don't know, I love to run.
What was your furthest run, do you think? Did you track it?
Did a half marathon over the summer.
Oh my gosh.
That was crazy.
You are a runner at heart if you did a half marathon. So are you marathon it next time you gonna?
I'd have to train for that one. The half marathon, I couldn't walk for 2 days. So
Oh my gosh. You
yeah.
finished it and you didn't really like train for it. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, before that, the further point one. And
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, maybe at first I was like, maybe I'll start training for a marathon. But I was like, after the half marathon, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna need like 6 months to do that one.
Oh my gosh. That'll be fun hobby like when you're done with your career. Then you can be, a triathlete or an Ironman or whatever. So I could see you doing that.
Okay, so I am definitely not a runner at all. I tried it out in quarantine and I could go was 2 miles. So props to you, Abby.
I get that. I get
Geez, that is
that.
incredible. A half marathon would be, I think, my worst nightmare. Um, so my like secret little talents are mostly stationary. I love to juggle. I can do that. I can solve
All
a
right.
Rubik's cube.
I've got
I
like two
learned
colors. Two colors was my go-to. Like, oh, I can get two colors. That's good.
I learned when I got my wisdom teeth out my senior year of high school. I was just in my bed for like 2 days straight. So I was like, I'm gonna learn how to solve this thing and stuck somehow.
That's pretty impressive, I must say. So at UCLA, we try to obviously create a culture of like gratitude and things like that. So Mac, since I'm already talking with you, what are you most grateful for?
I'm grateful for the people in my life, I think. No, I know I am most grateful for the people in my life. I couldn't even imagine this past quarantine and COVID without my friends, and I'm so grateful to live in an apartment with four of my best friends and live in the same city in Westwood, right next to all of my teammates and my best friends. Like, it is honestly such a blessing, and I'm hoping time will freeze so I can probably just stay here forever. But I think that's what makes it all the sweeter is that we're really like making the most of everything we have here and spending each moment really to its fullest. And so I'm really grateful for my friends. I'm really, really grateful for my family too. Um, I think I've gotten to build relationships with all my family members, and my sister has a little year and a half boy, so I have a little nephew, and I love FaceTiming him. And I think just talking over the phone to my siblings and my parents have like really helped me bond and get to know, and just, or not to get to know, but like build a schedule where I talk to them more often and whatnot. So
Abby, what about you?
I would say, of course, Lukey has made me grateful for every single moment in my life. But, going into this year, I didn't think that this year would happen. And so this year, and I are very close, and we're a class of three. And in the tennis world, in college tennis at least, that classes of three are trouble. We're so close. We're like thick as thieves. And, I get to step out on the court with my sisters every single day. And I love them all to death. And I made a pact with them, and I was like, I'm not going to take any single moment with you guys for granted. And
Oh,
I'm
that's
not
great.
going to take any moment that we have on the court, off the court, because I know that it can be taken away from us at any point in time. And, our institutions work so hard to give us everything that we have and allow us to have a season going through all the COVID tests and, masking and social distancing protocols and everything that we go through on a daily basis, all the way from check-ins to COVID tests, just everything that they've done. I'm super thankful for an institution that cares about us so much and has made all of this happen. All of the people behind the scenes, all over 500 people who are working so hard and so diligently to allow us to be here safely.
Well, I definitely agree that UCLA is a special place. No bias. First, we want to thank you guys for coming on and taking time. We know you were busy. We just want to say we really appreciate you coming on and getting to know you guys a little bit better. And I'm sure all of our supporters and our donors and alumni enjoyed hearing from you and getting to know you. So this concludes our third installment of Meet the Bruins. And there's no two better Bruins that we got to know. So we are thankful and happy that you guys came on with us. So last thing I'm going to say is one day I hope I can hit a couple balls with you, Abby, just so I can see those 100-mile-an-hour serves and things like that. Mac, I can't really mess with you because I probably get, physical when you get hit in the face. That would probably happen to me. So I'm a little nervous about that. But thank you guys for coming on, and thank you everyone for all your support and all the moving parts, as you said, to make this happen. So good night and go Bruins.